scanner that you have that they were armed individuals, and they get out of the trucks and they're searching the ground, and you guys have no idea what they're searching for, yet there's nothing that came back, excuse me, on that audio scanner of you guys even stopping to detain them, supposedly while there's this lawful curfew. You guys have every right to detain, right? People are breaking the law right now when they're violating curfew.
Yeah. And again,
you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have released it if it wasn't confirmed by somebody within the department.
Okay.
Because that's malicious, and that's again fitting what you're saying, being a conspiracy theory. I'm not here to put out rhetoric. I'm not here to amp people up and get them crazed about this maybe happened. If it wasn't confirmed, I would have never released it.
Okay. I truly hope that, and that's the whole reason for my phone call to you today, is because I really hope that you're true to your word and you're not amping things up and stirring the pot.
No, 100%. Look, do I believe that there was some bullshit on protester side? 100%. Do I believe there was some bullshit on law enforcement side? 100%. Do I think there was righteousness on both sides? Yes, 100%. Even before Trevor had passed away untimely, and I'm really sad about that. I tried so hard, Nazlik, to be able to interview him because he was an amazing officer and because of something I filmed between him and protester. I have tried repeatedly with this department to get interviews with officers, and not even just to sit down and talk about Kenosha, just talk about policing in general. The mayor has made it extremely clear they want no type of transparency, no citizen, oversight committee, none of this. Miskinnis has made it very clear that nothing's coming out of there. Sheriff Beth has made it very clear. Like, you have not only your residents of Kenosha, but you have millions of people across the entire world that are just trying to understand what's going on. And if none of us are getting records, then it's a bit of an issue.
All right.
We're just asking for records so we can.
I understand that, and to that end, all right, because again, all of our time is precious.
Sure.
To that end, I understand that you want me to try to debunk this forced shooting victim, and I want to try to be able to do that for you, and I am going to try to be able to do that for you without you making a records request. I'm going to take this conversation as a records request, and I'm going to dig into it and see if there is something that can prove that there was no fourth shooting victim. Okay.
Okay. Will you approve that records request for the incident on 58th that I filed?
That's what I'm going to dig into. Okay.
But that's not a fourth victim at that point.
Okay. Well, I have to start somewhere. All right, and that's what I'm going to dig into.
Well, right. That's the fourth victim thing. I get. But I'm one of the other requests, and I've never filed something specific about a fourth victim. But one of the other requests that you denied me for, so you've denied this 3 times. Once in that very kind of in-depth records request that we filed that you told me I had to go to the DA to get permission. Then the second attempt doing that, where we kind of revised that records request, you denied me for that being overly burdensome. And then I filed a separate request, being the third, specifically only to the incident that occurred at 5824 10th Street that involved Officer Pablo Torres, or Detective Pablo Torres, in any documentation for the incident report, arrest record, whatever it was, and video from 10th Street.
Yeah. So go back to our 45-minute conversation yesterday, and
right, where you told me I didn't know how to file open records requests, but yet it's the same.
And not in those exact words, but to be blunt, yes. Go back to that, and I'm telling you, if you request the records in an appropriate way, where it is not statutorily precluded, or where I'm not statutorily precluded from releasing it, or there's not some case law that balancing it, and after my balancing test is done, if it passes the balancing test, documents will be released.
But there's case law supporting my argument too, Naslik, and that's why we unfortunately have to go into this ridiculous mandamus suit. It's insane.
But listen to me. If what you're doing isn't working, perhaps you might want to try a different way.
I know you keep saying that.
Yes, and it's not my job to teach you how to write the records request, and I'm not saying that to be difficult about it. But if the way that you're submitting your records requests is not working, perhaps you might want to try a different way.
Okay, I'm gonna refile as soon as we're done here. I'm gonna email you that open records request involving the incident at 58th Street. I'm gonna email it to you. I've already done it.
You don't have to. This is a recorded phone call, and this phone call serves as an open records request for the incident at 5824 10th Avenue on August 25th.
With Pablo Torres, right? I want every type of anything to do with that, whether it be written documentation, PDFs, emails, Miskinis's emails. I want every single video from 10th.
Hold on. All right. Backtrack and go back to our conversation yesterday. With what you just said to me now, and go back to our conversation yesterday. If what you have tried in the past is not working, perhaps you want to try something different.
Right, so potentially you'll release an incident report, one single document, but anything else I'm asking for won't be released. And then in which case, my entire request will be denied in whole, not just in part.
It could be, yes.
Right.
Yes,
So any of the video that was confiscated from 58th and 10th all the way down to 63rd and 10th, none of that's getting released. Miskinis's emails.
You're making conclusions. You don't know the answer to that yet. You're just making assumptions and conclusions based off of previous attempts to obtain records.
Well, right, but I'm telling you exactly what I'm looking for, and you're telling me you're alluding without trying to give me the correct answer. You're alluding that these things are not going to.
If you continue to ask for stuff the same way that you have in the past, it's likely going to be denied.
How come? Now, can I ask you a real question?
Yes, all of these are real, dude.
So
They're all real.
the same exact request. So let's just take the very overly burdensome one regarding everything to do with Kenosha from the 23rd to the 31st. Okay, the same exact, and obviously changing a little bit of wording when it comes to a different department or what have you. Or if I know that a department doesn't have body cameras, I don't even bother asking for it.
Sure.
But the same exact request, the same verbiage with the keywords and all the other stuff has been served on every other law enforcement entity that was involved in Kenosha, and they're all releasing records, other than the ATF and whatnot.
Okay.
But they're not confused about what the verbiage is about. They're not confused about what I'm asking for, and they're not claiming it to be overly burdensome. The U.S. Marshal got the same exact request you got. The only verbiage that changed was United States Marshal Service.
Yep. And my short answer to that is I'm not going to speak for another police department or law enforcement agency.
But do you understand the concern from everybody is that Kenosha is the only one that seems very confused or just doesn't want to do it?
Sure, I do. And you've made your complaint to the district attorney, and about my denials for the records request. And when we go before a judge, if I'm wrong, I will say, okay, I'm wrong. And the judge will order me to turn over records, at which time I'll comply with a court order. All right, but the decision that I made, and for the reasons that I wrote down on those letters that I sent, I stand by. Okay?
Right, but it's every request, Naslik. Even if it's a single document. I can't even get my arrest report to figure out who kidnapped me.
This is where I'm really hoping that you try to listen to me.
I get it. I hear what you're saying.
If what you have done in the past is not working, perhaps you may want to try something different. All right? So I'm going to leave it with this. shooting victim.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I understand how you're drawing your conclusion. All right. But I'm telling you that based on my knowledge, which is pretty extensive. I don't know everything. I don't espouse to, but it's the public information officer's job to try and know everything that's going on. And we're not aware of any forced shooting victim. I understand that you have a source within the police department that contradicts what I'm saying right now. Based on what I know, I'm going to say that your source is wrong. And
Oof, that might be a
then
problem.
I'll leave it with this, that you want me to dig in to an arrest that was made by Officer Torres at 5824 10th Avenue on August 25th, 2020, and I am going to do that. You don't have to write anything down. You don't have to send me an email. This conversation serves as a records request for that. I'm going to dig into it, and if there's stuff that I can find that is releasable, I will release it to you. Okay?
Understood.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Hey,
And
just
understand, I'm not mad at you. I want to be clear about that. It's just frustrating.
I get. Well, it's all frustrating. We're trying to make sure the public knows the truth. You know what I mean? There's obviously this contention between community member and law enforcement. If you guys aren't doing anything wrong, release all the stuff so we can accurately portray. Hey, you know what? In this situation,
Again, though, but that's the part where there's the disconnect. I can't always release everything because of reasons, because of different reasons. I can't always release everything. I'd love to be able to just say, here's what happened, right? But there's all kinds of things that could be affected by a premature release of documents or videos or recordings or other stuff.
Sure, and that part I fully understand. I fully understand. But KPD has a history under Morrissey and Miskinnis of no transparency within the community. You won't even give me documents about Morrissey. Morrissey's not even the chief anymore. I can't even gain access to his stuff under his supervision. I mean, that's the other problem too, Nazlik, is that's the other claim is that KPD's never received these open records requests.
So I became the public information officer on February 1st, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak to anything that happened before that date. I'll stand by everything that I've done from February 1st to 2020 to now.
And I didn't start filing open records requests until, August 29th of 2020.
Yeah. So,
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, we filed an open records request for the last 11 years when it pertains to Morrissey, his chiefness, and Miskinnis' chiefness, with specific, verbiages.
Well, I hope you give it some strong consideration for the conversation that we had yesterday and continuation of it today.
I got it.
If what you've done in the past doesn't work, perhaps you want to try something different.
Okay.
Okay? So I'll be in touch, or you can be in touch. Give me a call, send me an email, but I'll contact you and let you know if I have records that can be released related to August 25th, Pablo Torres' arrest at 5824 10th Avenue.
Okay. Who sent you my article?
I look at your stuff.
Do you?
And yeah, I look at your stuff, and I had hoped that based off of our conversation yesterday, you may have written something about it. That hey, oh my gosh, I got a call from KPD. So, but I unfortunately, in my opinion, read something that's inaccurate.
Well, no, I didn't need your perception.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked about it with the legal team again. Am I dumb and am I wording this stuff the wrong way? I've talked about it with other journalists after our conversation. That had already reviewed the open records request prior to me submitting them. Hey, again, like this guy's telling me that I essentially don't know how to write open records requests. And what am I doing wrong? Is there something wrong with this? Is the verbiage wrong? Is it too much verbiage? How much more dumbed down do I need to make this? And I have multiple lawyers and multiple journalists saying this, it's fine. And again, when there's other government entities that are getting the same exact thing and don't seem to be confused about anything, You know, but again, the U.S. Marshal said, yeah, it's fine. We'll approve it. Just bear with us. It's going to take some serious
Okay.
amount of time. But it's no
Yeah.
different. This sheriff's department denied the same request.
All right. Well, I disagree with the opinions of the other law enforcement agencies then that are giving you the stuff. I'm not saying they're wrong.
I just find it weird that
just
you
disagree.
have all the other entities that were down in Kenosha, minus National Guard, because that's military and that's a whole nother nightmare.
Mhm.
But all of the
Yeah.
other law enforcement style departments that were down there, everybody's getting all of these either documents or video footages from squads or body cams or whatever it may have been. But anything with Kenosha or the Kenosha Sheriff's Department, nothing's being released to anybody. But all the other departments, Tosa, Oak Creek, Greenfield, Glendale, Waukesha, I mean, all these places, everyone's giving all these people, lawyers, ACLU, journalists, and we're all getting stuff, but Kenosha doesn't want to release anything.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, though, too, that these other, and this is logical, this is a logical thought process here. Keep in mind that these other law enforcement agencies are not actively investigating or involved with the investigation of these cases here either. They were here in assisting roles. So they're not the lead agencies and they're not the investigating agencies. And the work that they did and the reporting that they did isn't directly involved with, say, the Rittenhouse case. So that could, streamline the release of records because
So Antioch wasn't directly involved in the Rittenhouse case?
well, sure they were. Yeah.
Well, right, but Antioch released video of Rittenhouse, Wendy, and Dominic,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And I'll be frank with you. You know what? If I was an investigating agency and an investigating detective on that, I would be upset that they did that. But again, Antioch is not affiliated with Kenosha. We can't tell them not to do it. They have to make up their own mind. But had they called and asked me, I would have said, no, don't release it. And here's why.
Sure, and I get that.
And
But it's just, you
they
got to
never did
understand
that.
from my perspective, though, and I know you're going to tell me the same thing, but it's just, it doesn't even matter if it has to do with the unrest, Nazlik. I'm asking about the license plate readers and the connection with KPD and Vigilant Solutions. You won't give me any of that.
But
I'm asking
no,
about...
No. Go back to yesterday. I have proof that I tried to correspond with you about that, and I sent it to you. And we were on the record yesterday saying that you're still interested in the ALPR stuff, and I'll dig into it. All right. So
Okay,
that's not
so
a
you're
denial.
fine.
All right.
So you're digging into that. The shots fired study.
Yeah.
Nobody can get the shots fired study. That leads to a lot of question of why. There's the insurance company that you guys have, Cities and Mutual, whatever it's called, that has over 50 different municipalities, including Tosa.
Yep.
We're allowed to have contracts. We're allowed that per open records. I'm trying to figure out the relationship between KPD and the insurance company, what it's all about.
Okay.
I can't.
All right.
That's another one. Like, I'm just not getting anything. It doesn't even matter what I'm asking for. And again, even if the verbiage is so simplified to a couple of sentences, exact dates, whatever it is, I'm just not even getting that. Like, I don't know how much more. Sure, maybe there could be argument about some very lengthy ones, maybe. But the ones that are so simplified down to just an incident report, or specifically, I want any information regarding Vigilant Solutions and KPD from this time to this time. I'm trying to find out if you guys have ShotSpotter in Kenosha to locate the acoustics of gunshots. That just got
Yeah, I
denied.
know what it is.
Yeah, right. That just got denied.
Yep.
Right,
So you're
right.
right. I'm going to give you the same answer.
I know. If I don't know how to write it, try it a different way.
So.
Got it.
All right. Okay. Well, I hope you do. All right.
I got it.
I really, truly hope you do, because I'm here. I am a public servant, and if a record can be released, the public should know about it. And I am in complete agreement with that.
Facts.
If it can be released. Okay.
Right.
So. All right.
Well, that's
I
fine.
hope you do try something different, and we'll talk soon.
All right, buddy.